Well, we're back again. It's another episode of Attempting Not to Get Sacked, and I've decided to pick a game which I'm most definitely going to win because that's how the game works for some reason. But we will be taking on one of our former players who we've just recently sold to one of our rivals. I put rivals in quotation marks because they're not really our rivals. They're not really on our level, to be honest. I really need to stop being big-headed in the intros because I definitely know that these things will bite me back. In the last episode, we took on Queen's Park Rangers away from home and lost by 2-1, which was a game that we really had to win, and it's that sort of pushed us out of the playoff picture a bit. And then the recent results after that weren't great, and it was starting to push us down the league. But then we managed to get a result which I think has actually pushed us back into the picture. I mean, I don't really know how I explained it like that. Now, following that game against Queen's Park Rangers, we took on Brighton and Hove Albion in the FA Cup replay, and we were knocked out in the fourth round as Morgan Whittaker scored an own goal, unfortunately, and then Evander scored a second in the second half, and Brighton beat us by 2-0. We then followed it up with a shocking home defeat against Peterborough as Jake Buckley scored with 10 minutes left on the clock to give Peterborough a 1-0 win at our ground, and then Pontus Jansson gave Brentford the lead in the following game after that, but then we managed to turn it around as Noel Ennis then equalised in the second half, and Ike Ugbo came off the bench to score two absolute worldies as we managed to overcome Brentford and beat them by 3-1, which has put us firmly back into the playoff picture. But in this episode, we take on Southampton away from home, a team that are currently below us in the league, and a team that we have beaten 4 times out of 4 in every game that I've managed against them. And a few of you might actually look at that game and think, proud you've won the game already, you always beat Southampton, so clearly you're just going to win the match again. And let's be real, there are no easy games in football, unless you're playing Southampton as Wycombe boss. Now, following that defeat against Queen's Park Rangers, Ralph Hasenhüttl said that apparently he was actually quite pleased with how we performed against his QPR side. I mean, I wasn't really pleased. We lost the game. We were all right in the second half, but in the first half, we pretty much lost the game on that. I mean, to be honest, am I really going to take praise from a manager that has actually managed Southampton? No, I'm not. My assistant manager in the press conference following that game also said because we are so far ahead of the relegation zone, a sort of area that the sort of pundits were expecting us to be finishing around this season, it means that we are actually good enough to win something. And I mean, to be honest, we have gone 6 games without winning after that QPR game, and you know, winning league games might be a good start. And amazingly, before we take on Southampton, Noel Ennis has also twisted his knee for 6 days, which means that he's pretty much going to be on the bench for this game because I don't think he's going to be fit enough to start. My left winger Morgan Whittaker was also very complimentary towards me because he said that it was me and my praise to the team at half-time when we were drawing 1-1 against Brentford, which actually led us to a 3-1 win in the end. I mean, I'm not really sure why Morgan Whittaker's praising me because it was my change to sub him off for Ike Ugbo, which actually won us the game because Ike Ugbo scored 2 goals in that match.
Rubbish.
But Morgan, you do you, mate, because, you know, you clearly know better than me. The win over Brentford was also our first win over them in 5 games. I mean, looking at the recent results we had against them, I mean, it's pretty astounding we've managed to actually limit them to 1 goal. And that is also the first game we've played against them at home, and we've managed to score. Obviously, because this is Attempting Not to Get Sacked, and I talk about this all the time in every episode, Noel Ennis has also broken the 20 league goal barrier, which means he's now got another bonus. But obviously, the main reason that we're focusing on this game is because Southampton took my best player in Josh Knight for 4.1 million, and we are now going to be playing them in this episode. And I tell you what, if we beat them for the 5th time in a row in this save, I literally don't know what's happening.
I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
I'm being serious when I say that. 5 times against a team that are clearly stronger than us. I don't want to praise Southampton too much, but they are clearly stronger than we are. Now, we move into our game against Southampton away from home, and there have been a few changes to the side because there are a few tired players and a few players are injured. But the big change is that Keenan Davis will lead the line for us in this game. Now, Ennis has been dropped to the bench because he is not fit enough to start, which means that we are going with our second choice striker, Keenan Davis. Ike Ugbo, after his 2-goal haul against Brentford, means that he is then into the team. William Cullen playing on the right-hand side. We've gone with Teddy Bishop, Alex Patterson, and Jacob Davenport playing in midfield. 3 as Luca Connell is too tired after his recent run of games, which means that I've had to refresh the midfield. I've also decided to shift Keane Bryan from centre-back to left-back, which brings in Zek Medley to play in that left centre-back role, and Sean McLaughlin playing alongside him with Barley Mumba keeping his place at right-back, and of course Daniel Grimshaw will keep his place in goal. But as you can see from the league table to your right, Southampton are just above us in the league, and we do need to win against them because we do want to finish above them in the league. I mean, I don't know why I'm creating a rivalry against a team that I really don't give a shit about. I mean, I have played Southampton a number of times on this save, and ever since they dropped down to the Championship, their squad has got weaker and weaker. I mean, no wonder they wanted to get Josh Knight, because looking at that midfield is absolutely shocking. And also, by the way, Southampton are playing 5 at the back against us. I mean, that shows you how scared they are. And just to go in on them a little bit more, their bench isn't looking very strong either. But also, you have to take into account we're without our top goal scorer this season, and I'm playing a striker up front who's only got 3 goals in the last 6 months. This is surely going to be the game of the season. The pre-match team talk actually went surprisingly well. I said to the boys that we're underdogs for the 5th game in a row against Southampton, but we have a chance to prove them wrong again. And also, don't mind me, I'm just putting hard tackling on Josh Knight because, you know, he's left me. Judas. But even if the players look a little bit out of our reach at the moment, I do want to get as many points on the board as possible because it will give us a good base going into next season where hopefully I could do something magical. Magical being I'm hopefully not relying on one player to score all the goals and hopefully not relying on a goalkeeper who's not good enough at this level to keep clean sheets. Southampton did get the first highlight of the game after 5 minutes as Fleming got down the left-hand side and then played the ball into the middle of the box where it found its way to Josh Knight on the edge of the area, but then he fired the ball wildly over the bar. I mean, no wonder my board sold him. And do I need to change my underwear because I thought he was going to fire it into the top corner? Yes, I do. It took us a little bit of time to get into the game, but we did manage to fashion our first chance of the match after 10 minutes. Liam Cullen laid the ball off for Teddy Bishop, who put probably one of the worst shots we're going to see in this game, wide. Southampton then did get a corner, and Jack Jenkins put the ball into the back post for Tom McIntyre, their captain, to head at Daniel Grimshaw, who tipped it over the bar. We then got a corner a few minutes later, and Teddy Bishop put the ball in the box, but Keenan Davis's shot was blocked, but it's found its way to Jacob Davenport, whose shot was then deflected wide. I mean, to be honest, the chances are really poor, to be honest. Now, I made a bold decision playing Keane Bryan at left back rather than centre back in the most recent games, and it was working because he was starting to dictate the play on that wing, and we did manage to get the ball inside onto the middle of the pitch, and then it's found its way to Ike Ogbo on the edge of the box, who fired it into the top corner to give us the lead and to get his 3rd goal in the last 2 games. I mean, surely it's not happening again. Surely. But I am really pleased at Ike Ogbo because he did have a bit of loss of form recently, and I'm glad to see that he's getting back into the goals. And of course, he scored against Southampton, so why would he not be a hero? We were really dominating the ball in the game as well, and, you know, we were creating chances here and there, but Liam Cullen managed to get a snapshot away on the edge of the box, but he fired it wide, which, I mean, was probably the best highlight of the rest of the half. So we went into half-time 1-0 up at the break, and to be honest, I mean, looking at the stats, we've dominated possession. I think we've had 69% of the ball.
Nice.
But we haven't really got that many shots away, and I mean, we've pretty much equaled Southampton's amount of shots, so, you know, but at least we're winning. We're winning on goals, that's all that matters. But the second half was just like the first, and we were dominating the ball, and we managed to fashion another chance as we got the ball over the top for Ike Ogbo to fire it wide, even though he was called offside, and I don't know why I'm speaking in rhyme. With 20 minutes left on the clock, I decided to make a couple of changes, and I thought about bringing Alex Samuel up front on for Keenan Davis, but then realised that Keenan Davis was having a pretty good game, to be honest. So then sent on Alex Samuel on the right wing to replace Liam Cullen, and then brought off Teddy Bishop to be replaced by Luca Connell. But then about 10 minutes later, I decided to make the change anyway, and then sent on Alex Samuel to play up front, and then brought on Morgan Whittaker to replace Keenan Davis, and then moved Whittaker to the left-hand side, which meant that Niall Ennis wasn't actually going to play a game for the first time in 5 months. And amazingly, Southampton didn't really trouble us for the rest of the game, and we managed to hold out for the 1-0 win again. I mean, how do I keep doing it? How do I only beat Southampton consistently in this save? I've beaten them 5 times in a row. 5 times. I mean, this shit is too easy, isn't it?
Who else has seen this filth? You know what I'm talking about? Who else has seen this filth?